What's good YouTube? Prince here, back with another video. I'm going to try and make this video short for once. This video is just basically about the new emergency patch that is dropped in Tekken 8 about like 2 days ago. Now, I gotta say, for an emergency patch, this is a pretty solid patch. It's pretty good. Obviously, there's still more work to do with the rest of the game in terms of balancing the game and making the game more interactive and more viable for a competitive setting. But for the small things that they did do in this patch, they did a really good job. I think the best change they've done so far in the patch is making heat engagers go from plus 17 to plus 9. Now, I know some people are probably looking at the video and already disliking, saying, Prince, plus 17 to plus 9, like, how is that any big of a difference? Like, how, like, at minus 9, you're still very limited in what you can do. You can't necessarily step, but I just want to show you a demonstration on why plus 17 to plus 9 is a big deal, because this is what Jins would do back in Season 1 in a plus 17 situation. We're just going to let it play out, right? I'm going to get hit by this. Jin's going to do wall running 3 into Zen, right? You would pretty much be forced to take this, right? Now with plus 9, what this does is plus 17 pretty much guaranteed that they get to play big Tekken. Now with plus 9, they don't necessarily get to play that big Tekken, or they don't get to necessarily play big Tekken. Traditionally, like when somebody lands a heat engager, what most characters would do is you would pretty much do a wall running move like this, right? Wall running move, they block it. You know, you go in. That's typically what Nina would do. You would just cash out on your big plus frame moves and try and do as much chip damage as you possibly can, and then you'd go for the real mix-ups, right? But at plus 9, this is what you can do now. See this? So if they try and go for like that quote-unquote big Tekken, you can actually challenge, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's just an example. And now, not only can you challenge, you actually can do stuff like this, right? I mean, like, that's actually a pretty big deal, because now, if pretty much people now have to think about how they're gonna actually try and use their plus frames. Obviously, at plus 9, if Jin were to do something like this, I can't really step or do anything about it, right? Oh, whoops, sorry. I mean, I can step the last hit, but okay, I'm gonna try and step. Can't, because I'm minus 9. So it pretty much forces the opponent to play into a smaller Tekken, where like they can't oppress you with the overly plus frame moves like they did before, which is honestly a really good change. I think that's honestly amazing. So this actually does help out a lot, but obviously there's other things that went into the patch that they did focus on. Now again, I know before you guys like comment and say, oh my god, it's still not enough, I understand it's not enough. It's only, I'd say, only covers like maybe 5% of the big total issues that need to be addressed in this game, but it's a good start. Now what I do want to talk about in this video is I gotta give Namco their props, but I also feel like the Tekken community is kind of stuck in a loop. Now hear me out on this one. In Tekken, Namco has this funny way of doing things where they create problems that shouldn't even exist in the first place. They'll create these big problems, the community will complain about these problems that shouldn't exist in the first place, and then in the next patch or update, they fix and address that problem that shouldn't have existed in the first place, and then we praise them, and we kind of have like selective memory. Like for instance, in Tekken 7, right? Michael Murray made a change where Hell Sweeps were homing, meaning they tracked both ways, right and left. They were true homing moves, so you couldn't step them, so your only counterplay was to just guess and block low, right? And also in that same update, he made it so that electrics recover 3 frames faster on whiff, making electrics even harder to whiff punish, because they were already pretty notoriously hard to whiff punish. Now they're even harder to whiff punish. Now, he reverted the update after a lot of community backlash. He removed the tracking on the hell sweeps, but he actually still kept the he actually kept this extra recovery frames on the electric that are still in this game today, from Tekken 7 all the way to Tekken 8. Now, the reason I bring this up is because in Tekken 8, they made it so you took chip damage whenever you would break a throw, right? Now, everybody complained obviously about taking chip damage while breaking a throw, because rightfully so, that shouldn't exist in a game like Tekken. And then obviously they're going to remove it, and then the next update in this emergency patch, they did remove it, and then we praised them. But do you see where I'm going with this? They create problems that shouldn't exist. They create problems just to fix problems, and then we praise them, when in reality, like, they've gone maybe 12 steps back and took 2 steps forward. But we're still in that same area where the game definitely needs a lot of work. Now, I'm not trying to doom and gloom or anything, but I do want people to actually sit back and think about this. I'm gonna just play replays in a bit while I rant for the next 3 to 4 minutes of the video, because there's other things I want to talk about too. But I do think Frame Whisperer did cover this. I think he did talk about how Namco has this issue of creating problems and then fixing the problems. We praise them, and then it's like we kind of like forget. Like, we have like selective memory issues, right? I mean, no offense and all, but like, realistically speaking, how do I say this? Like, them putting chip damage on breaking throws and then removing it, and then us praising them for removing it, is kind of like praising a mother for feeding their kid, when in reality that's what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, we kind of set the bar so low that any good behavior, any right behavior, not good behavior, any right behavior is treated like it's just like Kingdom Come or something like that. But if we keep doing this, like, I don't really think that the game's ever gonna really, how do I say this? I don't really think that the game's ever gonna truly reach that point where we want it to, where it's optimal Tekken and most people enjoy it. If we keep having them create these problems, they fix the problems that they created in the first place. And then it's like this point where, like, they keep doing it to the point where we don't actually get to address the real problems that have been in the game since day one. But I do think they're going in the right direction. I'm very happy that heat engagers have gone from plus 17 to plus 9. I think that's huge. Even if you're watching this video right now and you don't actually think that's a big deal, I assure you it's a pretty big deal in the first place. But I think we as a Tekken community, we need to be more aware, and again, we should give praise where it's due, but I think we should be more open-minded in seeing, like, okay, if they created a problem, they fixed a problem, but we're still stuck in, like, the same situation. Like, currently this game is still in a worse area than it was in Season 1, but not as bad. I mean, put it like this, if this was Season 1, and they reduced heat engagers from plus 17 to plus 9, and allowed us to step into the foreground on player 1 and player 2 side, even when we're putting crouch, that leads better than Season 1, right? Now, this game does do a lot of good things. I like that we can step into the foreground. That's an amazing change. But obviously there's still more work to do, but I do think it is going in the right direction. But I don't think we can keep letting Namco get away with creating problems just to fix them, because all that essentially does is stop other problems from being addressed. But keep in mind, there is going to be another big, huge update patch mid-May, and I think by mid-May is going to be like, I think mid-May is when the game is going to reach that point where you're either going to be locked in for Tekken 8, meaning this is a game you're going to be playing all the way until Tekken 9 comes out, or by mid-May you're probably going to check out the game entirely, and maybe you're just going to wait for Tekken 9. Now, me personally, I'm going to keep playing the game. I'm not boycotting the game or anything. I'm going to keep trying to play the game. Obviously, I'm going to go for God of Destruction, maybe, depending on how good the changes are in May. I'll probably consider going for God of Destruction Infinity if I really like the changes. But then again, I have to wait and see. Like, this video could age poorly and they could do something really bad where they mess something up in Season 2. Or they do something extremely volatile in Season 3. Personally, I do think if this game does make it to Season 3, I think maybe they should release less characters and just, I don't know, release maybe more stages and just focus on like the balance play of the game. I still enjoy this game to an extent, but I do gotta admit there is a bit of burnout after you play this game for more than an hour. So, I don't know, I don't want to doom and gloom because I think enough people have talked negatively about the game and said a bunch of bad stuff about the game already, and I don't really want to be that guy on YouTube that keeps criticizing the, not necessarily criticizing, criticism is fine, but I don't want to be the guy that just keeps talking bad about a game that I actively continue to keep playing, because if you're watching the video, you can see by these replays that I'm still playing the game, right? I'm still technically playing the game, and I'm still talking about the game. And my channel is mostly dedicated or revolving around Tekken. So, again, like I said, W for Namco, it's a step in the right direction. I'm not going to give them too much praise because obviously there's a lot of things that need to address. And in my opinion, I think it would have been faster to just revert the game to Season 1. Some people might disagree, but a lot of people do agree. I've seen people in the YouTube comments talking about like, oh, this emergency patch is proof that they're actually listening to the community. I say it's kind of 50-50 because I think it's more, this patch is more proof that they acknowledge that the game isn't doing so well. Not necessarily that they're listening to us, because if you want to make the argument that they're listening to the community, I think what they would have done is they would have reverted the patch to Season 1, and then they would have kept everything they did in Season 2 and just make it an extra game mode or something. But then keep the good updates, like stepping into the foreground, heat gaugers being +9 instead of +17, round start input buffering, which is also another good change, the removal of power crush. We got to give them props, like, where they do something good. Like, removing power crush heat engagers was a really good thing. So, like, there's things that Namco is doing right. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing some things right. But the only issue is, like, for everything that they do right, they do 5 other things wrong. But I do see, like, the good in the game. Like, I don't want people to make it seem like I'm not noticing, like, the good changes. I see all the good changes. The only problem is I also see all the bad changes, too. And again, I don't think as a community we can keep letting them get away with creating problems that shouldn't exist in the first place, just to fix the problem in the next update. And then we praise them, and then we're like, oh, they're listening, where like a lot of these issues just shouldn't existed. I think Nakatsu did finally open up and admit that he is in charge of the balancing team, that he is the lead game director for the game. So he did apologize and admit that he messed a lot of things up, and I actually appreciate that. I know some people are going to say, like, oh, apology doesn't really mean anything unless they continue to back it up, which is true. That's fair, but it's definitely I'm trying so hard not to constantly keep saying it's a step in the right direction, because I feel like everybody on YouTube is saying that. But let me know in the comment section what you guys want them to do from here on out in Season 2. Like, are you liking Season 2? Are you guys still playing Season 2? Let me know in the comments. Have you decided not to play Season 2 until you see additional changes that would actually make you more interested in the game? Do you guys think that the game's going to be quote-unquote peak by May? In terms of like, oh yeah, by May, they nailed the game, this is how the game should be, or maybe you're one of those people that have completely just given up on Tekken 8 and you went back to Tekken Tag 2, you went back to Tekken 7, you found an emulator to run Tekken 6 with your friends, because I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely been playing a lot of Tekken 7 until this patch. Now I'm back on playing Tekken 8. Obviously there's still a lot of issues, but I think Namco will do their best. I'm not going to guarantee anything, because if you say too many positive things or too many non-negative things, people will call you a shill. But like, bro, like, I'm a small YouTube channel. Like, bro, like, I don't even have any subs. Like, bro, like, I have no subscribers. Like, you definitely can't say I'm a shill. Like, you know, I'm definitely upset about certain things, but I also give credit. I always try to make it a thing where no matter how upset I am with either a product or a movie or any type of media, if they do something right, I always give them props. So I do got to give them props in the areas that they did fix and address. Still a long way to go, but yeah, my main issue, I think my biggest problem is them making problems just to fix those problems later on, because none of the other issues get really addressed. But aside from that, I think that we should give the game a fair shot. I mean, I think we should give the devs a fair shot. I know some people are going to say, like, oh, it's been a year. We've been telling them what they're supposed to do. Like, they're not going to do anything. And I say, let's all just wait until mid-May. When that update drops in May, then you guys can come and talk to me and say, like, alright, Tekken's either cooked, it's done, it's bad. I mean, right now the game's still kind of cooked. If you ask me, I say the game's still in a very wonky state right now. But, I mean, I'm still playing it, so what does that make me? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section if you guys think that this game's going to be fixed by mid-May, or if you guys think that this game will still be in a story state by mid-May, or if you're still playing the game, let me know. If you guys quit Tekken 8 and you're playing other games like Street Fighter 5, or you're just going to wait for City of the Wolves or whatnot, let me know in the comment section. And yeah, we can just talk about it in YouTube comments. But that's pretty much it for the end of the video. I've said how I felt about this patch. It's a good patch. But as for how I feel about the game, I still think the game is still pretty lackluster, and it just doesn't really feel like Tekken, but it's starting to feel more like Tekken. I'd say in terms of enjoyment, I can have fun with the game, but I can't have too much fun with the game if I play it for anything longer than an hour and a half. So I'm trying to play this game in small doses. But outside of that, I think the game is still fun, as long as you don't take the game too seriously. The game is still fun, but I'm really looking forward to those changes in mid-May, and I think that'll be the ultimate deciding factor in whether I take this game seriously, whether I play this game competitively, or whether or not I just look at this entirely as a party game. So like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how you guys feel about this game.